So what I did was, when I started hustling, I noticed that it worked for me. So anybody that was working for me, I gave them rules.
This is gonna hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast.
I see you ever put your hands on my mother, I'm gonna kill you.
You know, I've seen 4 suicides by a .22 gun.
Yeah, I did too. I
know the bullet travels.
Real hair trigger, real light trigger pull. That bullet will go in your head, and there was a movie saying, My Blue Heaven. He goes, 22 just goes around in your head and bounces around.
Mm-hmm.
I've also, conversely to that, I've seen people shoot themselves in the head with a 40 or a 45 and survive. I've never seen one survive with a 22 because it's so small and it doesn't exit. It just sort of scrambles your brains.
Well, I didn't know. You know, it was like, I need a gun. You know, at that
age, a gun is a gun.
A gun is a gun. I thought it was a rifle. You know, it didn't matter. And that's how I thought already. You know, like it's so bad. And this is why I try to reach out to so many kids that I know they're not acting up. They're acting out.
Yeah, they're acting out.
There's a difference. There's a big difference.
Well, you went from mescaline to weed. I'm sure that was the beginning.
Yeah.
Where did it was it just drugs or was it crime as well?
No, I really wasn't a criminal. I just wanted to make money. I had to act for it. Like, I delivered food before all these delivery companies came out.
Uber and
all this stuff. I delivered for Alibaba. I was their first delivery guy when we were homeless, right? And they would take the food home at the end of the night or whatever. And then it was kind of slow. I went to the delivery company. I went to the Chinese restaurant down the block and I asked them if I could work for them too. I already had the idea, like, let's add this up, you know? Like,
your work ethic you were talking about.
Yeah, that work ethic.
Got to keep moving.
At that age, that was, hey, you know what? Hey, this is kind of slow. Can I deliver for you too? Well, you know, they're not, and I was doing both every day after school.
Yeah.
So what did it graduate to?
So then, you know, fast forward, I got set up for a crime I didn't do. 2 piece of shit cops upset I shot somebody. I didn't shoot the guy.
See one of them?
No.
No, it was Nicky Burke. Nicky Burke and Mike DePalma.
You know what, Nicky Burke, they know the story. I got set up for shooting somebody I didn't shoot. I had a little beef with Hoboken cops because I broke a cop's nose. And
that'll do it.
Yeah. So I broke his nose, and then I started fucking with him because they beat me up in the police station for like 2 hours. You know, I went to the hospital, and then
good old Hudson County.
Yeah, those are the good old days, though. Man, but I respect those days. It is what it is. I was a dick.
Usually you gotta, if you took a beating in the station, you got off easier.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, when I was a kid, the cops either beat you or take you home to your parents. I'd rather take.
Well, they bruised me so bad. Well, they put me in handcuffs, and he beat me up so bad that my eyes were black, my nose was swollen, I had lumps. So they put me in the youth house for about 3-4 months. So I had to go to the youth house till I healed. When my black eye went away, they let me go home. You know, so
yeah, they don't want anybody else seeing what they did.
Again, that's Hudson County.
That's Hudson County. That's right.
And not today.
But they set me up, and then,
today you'd be back out on the street in 5 minutes.
What age is this?
15.
15. Okay.
Yeah, I was like 15, 16, and I went to the youth house for a couple months, and then couple of years later, I never really grew that much after that, the weed and all that shit. I wasn't really thinking about I wanted to, but the opportunities weren't there yet. Now, I got interviewed to do a life story. This lady that was shopping my story, like you guys wanted to ask me on Lifetime, and I came up with this idea because of what happened to me was making a drug dealer, right? So remember Making a Murderer? Right?
Sure, yeah.
So my idea was making a drug dealer.
It's like, I guess they could file that under educational.
Yeah. So I go to jail for something that I didn't do. I'm in jail these years. I did 5 years. I'm stressing. I'm asking God to kill me, take me. Like, why am I alive? I can't see my daughter. I'm around all these people. I don't fit in here. Everybody's just talking about doing drugs.
This is from the crime that you were set up for.
Yeah, for shooting that guy. We were at a club. A friend of mine got punched. They were arguing inside the club. It stopped for a little while. An hour later, the party's over. It's in Hoboken. We all go outside. One guy hits my friend. My friend falls to the side. I hit that guy. One of the bouncers shoots that guy. I punch another guy. So while I'm fighting, the cops are right there. They throw everybody on the floor. They didn't find a gun on me. The guy leaves, comes back. I'm shot. He didn't know he got shot. I knew who shot him. And he did it. They bring me in, bring my guy in. So now I'm going to make a phone call, right, to call my mother. The gun is on the table. And the cop is asking her, can you identify the gun? And
to your mother?
No, no,
Oh, no, to the girl.
witness.
To the witness. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what the gun looked like. He's questioning this girl, while I'm calling my mother, and I'm listening to the question. I'm like, this motherfucker. And
Hudson County.
Hudson County, man. It was 2 cops that did that. Two. They're dead now, and I'm glad they're dead. I don't talk about them because
Is it one of the guys whose nose you broke?
I know they kids. No. I want to fight him though. You owe me a fair one.
So you know the funny thing about that, Mike, and I'm pretty sure Mike feels the same way about this. All right, you were on one side of the law. You were doing whatever you were doing when you were growing up. If you and I, if you get the better of me as a cop, do you know it's part of the game?
Mm-hmm.
Where if you have a cop, and I always held cops to a higher standard, and if you're a dirty cop, I will hate you more than a criminal. I don't hate criminals. It's just that's you
got your business, we got ours.
Correct. You're my lifeline to a sustainable future. But a dirty cop, oh yeah.
Yeah, he's off the force. He got kicked out.
That
Started doing all the
bothers
dumbest
me.
shit. I think he was getting high too, but that was after the fact. I know when I came out of the youth house, I went and I saw him on Washington Street, and we were starting a fight with somebody. It was me. I was always fighting. And he comes in and he starts telling everybody, get the fuck out, crazy, cursing and everything. So I tell everybody, whoever leaves, I'm fucking you up. And he looked, and when he saw me, he's like, stop calling in, I was like, oh, you calling in? Whatever, so they called 100 cops came, and I just left after that. But he owes me a fair one.
Now you go away to prison. You leave your sister, you leave your mother. This guy comes into your mother's life. Thankfully, somebody put that in there.
Great man.
Did you think your life was done?
I still didn't know what life was. I didn't know what life was.
That's interesting. You didn't know what life was.
So how old were you when you went to prison?
19. No, 20. 19. I took it to trial.
And you were
I wouldn't rat on the guy. I wouldn't rat.
You were robbed of a childhood.
Yeah. So I wouldn't rat, and I wouldn't say it was me to get a lesser sentence. They were offering me like 22 with 8. We combined with the gun charge and the attempted murder. And I was like, I'm just not going to tell, but I'm not also going to accept. I can't stand there and say, I did this, Your Honor. So I'd rather roll the dice and get 20 years than to take 5 years. So I'm rolling against 5. They dropped the attempted murder, gave me an aggravated assault, gave me 8 with a 4, didn't give me a credit for a year. So I wound up doing 5.
Now, Butch, you remember this going down?
Yeah, well, I remember him as a little knucklehead kid.
Yeah.
Now he's an older knucklehead kid.
Yeah, he was just. I know he was always getting into trouble and stuff like that.
Yeah. Did you being where you are in the community, were you at this time doing your training?
Yeah, me and my brothers, we've been doing boxing since I'm like 7 years old.
All my life. Yeah.
Did you ever try to pull him in and try to get him out of this life?
I sold him one of the first cars ever because this kid, he's always been special. Even though he was a knucklehead, he was real responsible.
He's special too, but for different reasons.
He was real responsible. So I gave him the Honda Premium on credit.
Really?
And to his credit, he was never late on payments.
I can't not pay him, yeah.
So you were more afraid of disappointment than
my name is
going to jail.
Yeah,
pretty much.
My name and my reputation is everything, even to this day. Dignity, it's everything. Every important thing has rules, right? You have a manual, and I have that script in my head that I have to stick to this, or I'm not Benny Love.
Well, it's funny. I heard a quote the other day. It said, "If you lose money, you lose nothing. If you lose faith, you lose something. If you lose character, you lost everything."
Yeah,
and that's really what it is. You lose face, you're done.
And there was a time in my life I made a lot of money. When I came out of prison, I had a vengeance with the police department. I was like, these motherfuckers. I was just, now you're not gonna stop me. You set me up. The good thing is Hoboken's a square mile, right? Hoboken's a square mile.
It's hard to hide.
It's hard, but you know what? Yeah, it's hard to hide even for the police.
Mm-hmm.
So not that I was a threat to the police, but personally, they knew they fucked me. They knew they did something to me. It was out. The word was out. They knew who did it. So I gave them the respect. I was never, oh, fuck you, you're a cop thing. No, I never did that. Still, hey, what's up? How you doing? All right, hello, goodbye. Drive by and wave, So I gained that respect. And they just left me alone. So what I did was, when I started hustling, I noticed that it worked for me. So anybody that was working for me, I gave them rules. I want all your paperwork. I want all your lights working. I don't want more than a girl in the car. That's it.
Smart.
And every
Yeah.
time you see a cop, I want you to say, what's up?
You sound like the Walter White of Hoboken.
No, and you know what? And it worked.
Yeah.
And then if you didn't listen, Hoboken's a square mile. Again, I'm driving around all day.
Well, see, you're contrary to most criminals that Mike and I have ever dealt with, ever. And I'll tell you why. Because the common phrase in the police world is criminals are usually not the smartest brand of people. That's why they're criminals. And criminals always do criminal things. By you doing that one little thing, make sure all your lights work, setting those rules in place, you are doing what criminals don't do. So you're going to take the eyes off you. It's very smart.
Well, I always said, if you're doing something wrong, do it right. You know, if you're doing something wrong, do it right. So then you don't bring attention to yourself.
Now, when you went away to prison, you lived in Hoboken. I know Hoboken is an extraordinarily diverse area. Everybody sort of knows each other. It's kind of like the Alabama of the North. Everybody's cousins, friends,
Related in some way or another.
Yeah, everybody's related.
Everybody's copy.
Did any of the people come to your aid, or did they sort of just, well, Benny's gone?
It's kind of that, but it's understood.
Everybody's
poor though.
There's a no free Benny love
No,
movement.
Nobody did the shirts and none of that shit. But you know, it was expected. You know, it was expected. One guy let me down. One guy that I really loved. He was a good friend of mine, and I felt that.
Mike De Palma.
Yeah. I don't want to say his name because we
Yeah,
fought.
I
You know,
get
this I still love this guy to this day. And I called him up and I said, yo, look, I can't get past this. Meet me in the park by your house. I said, meet me in the park. Show me the fair one. And we went to the park, and you know, and I hit him and he fell. And I, get up. Hit him again. He fell again. But he came. He fought. Like he was like, I told him, I was like, yo, I can't get over this. I can't get past this. Like 2 years down the road, just meet me in the park. Let's shoot the one, man. Because after we fought, I said to him, all right, now what's up with my money? He goes, fuck that. You just got your money. Let's go eat.
You got your money's worth.
Yeah. So we went to eat. You know, we went to Torna's Pizza. We had pizza.
Oh, that's cool. And
Yeah.
you squashed it, right?
Yeah. We were cool before, but we had a little tension. And listen, I'm not a shooter. I'm not a killer, but I'm a man. If you cross that line, I can't live with it.
So you put up a very important point right there. You had this aggression and you couldn't get past. So you knew holding it in, it was just going to explode one day. And it's probably going to explode in a very unhealthy way for you.
Wrong way.
You met face to face. You worked out your problems either by fists or by verbal argument, however it played out. But at the end of the day, guess what? The problem's over.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Isn't that a better way of the world?
Oh, yeah.
happened to me a couple years ago now. We had this one guy, toughest guy in like South Bergen County, banned from every bar in the area. All he goes in is fights. He's knocking people out and everything. I was in a bar one day and he's like, you know, you fucking cops are all the same. And so I'm like, oh, here we go. So I stood up. I said, that's it. Let's go outside, motherfucker. Me and you. Come on, let's go outside. I said, you may kick my ass, but you're going to know you're in a fucking fight. Let's go. Every time I see the guy, he gives me a big hug now. We're like good friends, you know, because I stood up.
Sometimes it takes that. It takes that. Yeah.
Thank God we
The bully really
didn't
doesn't
fight.
wanna
He would have kicked my
Let me
ass.
tell you something. I was the alligator or the crocodile in the water in the club. Okay, I was always in the VIP.
Just hovering.
Yeah, because I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I'm drinking water. I come out healthier when I leave the club because I pissed about 10 times. I drank water all night.
Again, very anti-criminal what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just so you know that.
All right.
Just if you're going to if you're going to do this Lifetime show, how to make a drug deal, you're going against the grain. 99% of them do the opposite of what you're saying.
But I don't know. It's God.
Yeah.
Always walked me through this path.
Well, was God always in your life?
Yeah. I never had. I never hid from God. Yeah. Every day I got up and did something wrong, I asked God to help me. I don't hide it. How? God, help me today. I'm going to go sell drugs. I don't want nothing to happen to me. Please protect me. I'm going to beat the shit out of this
God
guy.
even protects drug dealers.
Yeah. I even say, yeah, God, you know, I'm going to knock him. I'm going to knock him out. I won't curse, you know, my prayers, but how are you going to hide this God, right? So you can tell God, all right, you know, I'm going to give him a pass and then see the guy hit him. Like, no, God, please, just don't let him die. You know, I never wanted to kill anybody, but you know, like the sin to death, right, is, you know, hey, 10 Commandments, you can't kill nobody. but it doesn't say you can't almost kill him.
That's like a 10.5 commandment.
I don't. You're.
Thou shalt not kill. You can maim.
You do what a lot of people do. You interpret the 10 Commandments in your own way, you know. And there's some people that go
Justifies you, right?
a little bit stricter with their interpretation.
But did he die?
Yeah,
It's mental justification.
that's. But now you go away and you get out. Are you still doing stuff that you're not supposed to be doing when you get out?
I only came out to do that. That's it. That was day one. Day one in my furlough, I bought a pound of weed to make sure that I was going to do that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So those bars closing?
Saved up a lot of commissary
And I
money.
was still in the halfway house. That was my first furlough.
So that time behind bars did not, like, there was no fear of going away. Like, I can't sit in closed
I'm scared
places.
of jail now. The biggest fear for somebody who's never been to jail, you tell them, oh, you're going to go to jail. You're going to go to jail. This is easy. I'm Benny Love. I'm getting food from everywhere, getting respect. I never had to join a gang. I'm that, I'm still the Benny Love in the street that I was in the street. I used to lend the CO's money. The CO couldn't pay me in prison one day, and I made him pack up all the encyclopedias and put them in my mother's car at the visit.
This is the craziest thing I ever heard. That you actually went to college.
Yeah, because now, remember, I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I'm not into what they're doing. I'm not in the game, so I don't have to be listening to everybody. I'm doing what I want to do. So I said to myself, when I come home, I was getting DuPont registries. Oh, you want anything? Yeah, I want a DuPont. I was looking at Rolls Royces, Bentleys, and houses, islands, right? And I was just putting all of those things. Now they call them affirmations and all this other stuff. They didn't have words for all that back then. It was just, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to do. So much. Fast forward. I'll go back to that. But fast forward, I went and drove and saw a Bentley. And the guy, I drive the Bentley. I like it. I buy this Bentley. I get the DuPont registry. Is the featured Bentley for that dealership. But for years, Ma, look at this car. Ma, look at this color. Ma, look at this car. It was just, I didn't know it was an affirmation. And then, so, rewind now, I wanted to get mortgages. We don't have families that own houses. So what did I do? I went and I got denied for a mortgage. So he can tell me what I have to do to get a mortgage. So, what's a good faith estimate? You got to put a good faith. Okay, $1,000. Okay, here's a check. Give him $1,000. I know I'm going to get declined because he said, you get your $1,000 back if you can't get a mortgage. I know I couldn't get a mortgage. I didn't know how to get a mortgage. So they taught me how to get a mortgage by denying me. How do I get credit for a car? What kind of credit history do I need? Listen, we're Puerto
You gave a
Rican.
deposit on an education.
Yeah,
That's right. And if they
exactly
would have
it.
gave me the $1,000, I wouldn't care because I knew that was going to make me money later on. What was a FICO score when you're Puerto Rican or when you're poor? What's a recession when you're poor? There is none. You're always fucking poor.
Life is a
Your
recession.
mother's always struggling.
Yeah.
Now,
So-
what do you dress? I gotta stop you here for a second. What are you dressing like at this time? There's a reason why I'm asking that. Are you dressing like you're from the streets? Or
Yeah, I always dress like I'm from the street. I always dress like this, kind of like this. I never really changed. And the reason why I don't change now is because I want these kids that are like me, that I don't know yet, to feel like they can still reach me because I dress like them.
So when you walked into that car dealership and you looked at the Bentley, what was their reaction to you?
Well, it was parked outside. The guy comes out. I'll never forget that. He goes, you like it? He goes, you want to buy it? I guess he was being maybe sarcastic. And
He thought you were going to steal it.
yeah, steal it, right? So I said, yeah, get the keys. He goes, give me your license. We went for a ride. I ran my credit. I don't give a fuck if you deny me. You're gonna tell me how to get it now. He proved me. That was Monday. I never forget. I swear that was Monday, and then on Friday I had the car.
So if you got denied, did you pay cash for it, or what did you?
No. I put a deposit, and and I just paid the car down.
So that's the funniest thing. I got a great story about this. Years before I was a cop, I sold cars, and car salesmen have this problem where they qualify. His brother will attest to this because I worked with his brother. They qualify people walking in the door. All right. and they'll look at them and they'll say, all right, well, I don't think you can afford it. Well, I sold Toyotas. I don't think you can afford a Land Cruiser. Just looking at you, you know?
Mm.
And a lot of people do that. So they walked away from this guy. And I'm looking this guy up in torn jeans. He's got like cheap loafers on, and he wants to drive a Land Cruiser. So all the people around go, oh, God, I'm not doing this. He's just going to waste my time. So I said, all right, let me give it a shot. I go up to the guy, and very nice guy. I'm filling out the credit application with the guy. And I was like, okay, one of the questions was, what do you make a month before taxes? And he goes, about 70 or 80. I'm like, no, not a year. Like, what do you make a month? He goes, yeah, it's a little low, but that's about right. He was an investment banker.
Mm.
You know that guy bought 5 Land Cruisers from me?
Damn.
And what he told me was, he goes, you didn't judge me when I walked in the door. He goes into those places specifically
On purpose.
Dressed
Look,
down.
Yeah.
dressed down, because he wants to see who is going to give him his time.
Yeah.
So you never judge a book by its cover.
Mhm.
That's the point of that. Like, I see you in here, all smiles, love hat on, and I can see you're a happy human being, but I also know a little bit about your past, and I'm trying to figure out how you got from there to here, and I'm trying to walk through. Like, you go back out on the street after jail, and I'm like, nobody does that right away. They try to do something to stay on the straight and narrow, or very few people. Anyway, somebody who wants to stay free. Now, how bad did it get when you were back out on the street?
So before 50 summed it up, or Get Rich or Die Trying,
Mhm.
I used to say, you got to want something bad enough to die for it. If you die, you don't need it. So, and then Get Rich or Die Trying came. It was perfect. You know, it's like,
Wow.
it goes with that. I'm not scared of death. When this man put the gun on me, I smacked it. I walked away from him. I told him I'm hit. I'm going to the hospital. He got nervous. He stayed there. He froze up. He wasn't a shooter. He's a bitch. He only tried to rob me. I made him shoot me. Not that I wanted to get shot, because I don't want to die and I don't want to kill nobody. I walk away, and then Primo was shoveling my other building, and he was still standing on the corner. I felt, I already knew something was going on. I didn't know how bad it was. I was still thinking, like, if I leave this kid here, he snaps out of it, he's going to kill him. You know, like, I was still sane. That when I drove to the hospital, I'm telling him, because I feel like I'm dying now. So I'm like, and I don't think I'm going to make it to the hospital where there's a blizzard. So I'm telling him, Primo, if I die, Primo starts, you're not going to die. You're not going to die. You're not going to die. He's just on repeat. Like, he kept looping it. And I'm like, yo, calm down. Calm down. I'm ready to smack him, you know? That you'll never, this is the craziest story. I get to the hospital, security shoveling, yo, you can't park there. Listen, I'm shot. Bring me inside. I'm still calm. Primo was so nervous, he got in the driver's seat and went home. He left me. I swear to God, he left me in the hospital with the bullet. And then when I got it, I walked inside. The guy goes, all right, walk me all the way in. They put me on, I started taking my clothes off. The bullet fell out of the other side of my body. The hole was like, like this. The entry, it's small, and then the exit was, it was a hollow tip. I'm holding the bullet. The ridges.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm holding the bullet in my hand. But then after that, I started getting weak, and I flatlined. They asked me when I woke up. I was in a coma. And
Was that the moment that you said this life?
no, I was already out of the life.
You were out of it. What
Yeah.
what got you?
So I
what made
got
that
in.
decision.
The decision to start when I came home was for my daughter. In my head, I got to give my daughter a life that she doesn't deserve. Like, I got to take her out of this and put her in a comfortable position.
You wanted to
Then-
be the father figure that you didn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But I had to do it through the street. So I started for her. I said, I'll put it all on the line for her. That's when I came home. I said, I'll put it all on the line for her. My son was the reason I stopped, right? So I had a beginning and an end. I only wanted like 5 years, right? So after a couple of years, I knew I should have stopped, but I was just, all right, I'm going to stop today. But I'm making 10 grand a day, 50 grand a day sometimes. It's not all profit, but, the margins are good, And then I got so much money out in the street that I'm like, you know what? All right, I'm slowing down. God, I know I said 5, this 5 ain't over yet. And I just, you know what? I said that's it.
I guess you realized with your children that this life you're leading is not sustainable. And if you continue the current lifestyle that you're at, you're going to run into the same situation that you had growing up, where you're going to be without a father. And
Maybe in jail again.
I'm sure that weighed on your decision-making process.
The jail thing in my head, it's all mindset. it's all like I was okay with dying. That's why I wasn't scared when I got shot. Doing what I was doing every day, I did it bigger and better because, like, my boys would say, yo, chill, you're going to get life. I'm like, you're going to be in the same jail like me selling bullshit.
Yeah.
So I might as well get life. I'd rather deal with a cartel than a nigga on the street that's going to shoot me for no reason.
Go big or go home.
Yeah. And that was my thought. So life in jail, or not that I ever want to do that because I'm so different, like now I have these opportunities and things are different and I'm glad that things change. So I'm not glorifying the lifestyle. I don't want the kids to look up to me that look up to me to say, oh, he was okay with life or getting killed. It was just a mindset that I had because I gave it all. I gave everything. It didn't matter, like I'm okay with my mother crying at my funeral and my daughter because I was achieving a goal. I was dying achieving a goal. It's no different than a marathon runner overrunning his whatever he can distance and die while he's running. I was committed. So anything I do, in this world now with the real estate and the things that I do, I'm still sending emails at midnight. And today I started at 6 a.m. I'm the first one in and the last one out.
Yeah.
You will not outwork me. You will not. I don't care what.
I say that about myself all the time. You and I should go head to head on something. That's me. It's nonstop because I believe if you work 40 hours, well, guess what? I'm going to work 80 hours because I need to be successful. That's what it takes to be successful. It sounds like you had several different businesses, right? I think you said you had a bar.
I had a bar because everybody wanted to buy out the bar, right? You go to the bar, everybody with the bottles. I don't drink. So I had this stupid idea. I said, you know what? And that wasn't a stupid idea. It was just like, I'm going to outdo these dudes. I'm going to buy the bar. So the bar we grew up in, I bought.
Well, you should go. So there's a great bar that's a sponsor of ours, Grand Saloon. I don't know if you guys ever heard about it in Clifton. As a matter of fact, we're coming up. Actually, by the time this airs, we're going to be past that. Our 2-year anniversary was held at Grand Saloon. It's 940 Van Houten Avenue in Clifton. Nick always takes great care of us. But that's like a family bar. And if Nick were to ever sell that, I would have the same mindset as you. We're like, you know what? I can't let this fall into somebody else's hands or fall by the wayside. This is just too good of a place.
And not even that. It was a pride thing because it was on the block where everybody hustled. So I just wanted to kill it.
Oh,
I
really?
wanted to own it, and I didn't want nobody selling drugs. I already stopped. So I was changing everything.
I was going to say, you buy a bar. It's an easy way for you to run drugs out of
Yeah,
there,
no,
too.
I didn't want to. That wasn't the plan. The plan was, like, I have friends now, and I don't want to say names. They own a couple of businesses, but they're not as successful as they should be, right? Because they're letting other elements get in their brain.
And they settle.
And they settle. They settle thinking that they're going to fix the problem to get to the solution, right? Me, I eat the dessert first. I eat the dessert. I get the things done that I need to do or fast forward some of the stuff. Maybe I jump a couple of steps, but I lead by example. I have my first couple of steps, my routines when I wake up, my affirmations, my faith in God, my prayers, and all of that. But when I'm going to start something, I stick to it or I don't start it at all.